What would you create if you had 30 minutes to plan and 4 hours to build? Today, I brought my friends Danny, Doug, Joel, and we're gonna see if we can build some spooky apps.
Claude was wrong, it's not gonna take 6 weeks. You can't trust the AI.
I thought I was gonna be able to have time. Clearly, I got 40 minutes.
The thing that I wanted to do is broken, so I'm just pretending that I wasn't gonna do that thing.
Dude, that's the way, cut features.
You got 4 hours to build.
Game face on, baby. Let's go.
Welcome to the Web Dev Challenge. Our challenge is to get into the Halloween spirit. We're gonna be building spooky apps, something that feels haunted, spooky, just kind of fun. You can choose what that means, if it's gonna be scary, if it's just gonna be kind of kooky. And to do it today, we're gonna be using Convex. To explain a little bit about what Convex is and how it works, I'm gonna welcome up today's advisor, Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I am based out of New York and I'm a software engineer at Convex. So Convex is a backend as a service platform. There's some box, which is like a server running in the cloud. It does a lot of things, but one of them is it like has a database inside of it. So you can write TypeScript code that kind of takes the place of something like an Express server where you'd be defining your endpoints, but also like SQL queries. Like normally you'd have to write some like ugly line of SQL to like query your data, but you can do all of that in TypeScript. And we have a few different kinds of functions. We have queries, which are like automatically reactive, which is pretty cool. So you can do a bunch of like single player to multiplayer things and everything live updates, and you don't have to worry about implementing that. We also have something called like actions, which are like kind of just arbitrary compute. So if you're doing things like talking to third-party services, like talking to AI, you do that from actions. And everything's like end-to-end type safe, so it's pretty smooth to use once you get the hang of it, in my opinion at least.
Okay, so from here, we're gonna get 30 minutes to plan, and that 30 minutes starts right now.
Let's get to it.
I was actually planning on giving mine a spookiness rating, so you could choose your level of spookiness, so therefore it wouldn't give you nightmares unless you actually wanted it to. So it's kind of consensual nightmares, which I think
Consensual nightmare.
which I think is important. My name is Joel Hooks. I live in Vancouver, Washington. Our company's called Badass Courses. So what I have planned for today is kind of a generative, spooky story maze. It's gonna be generative. I'm kind of leaning into generative AI, so every time you go through it, you can change it. I'm cursed with overconfidence, so I'm extremely confident that I am going to just absolutely nail this, and what I'm gonna produce is gonna be awesome, so. Damn, this typing's intimidating me.
That's why I brought that keyboard, man. I'm putting fear in everybody.
I type like 40 words a minute, so I've come to accept my fate.
Should we do a typing test?
Typing battle, let's go. Yo.
This is how you become a 10x developer. Yeah, I'm Danny Thompson. I am Director of Technology at This.Labs, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm going to build an app that is essentially a Halloween costume store with several twists in there that I think could be scary to some and would probably confuse a lot of other people. If I do anything today, if I can make Jason love me a little more, I've succeeded.
I feel like it should be illegal. Something around like scary movie trailers during like TV shows, like you're watching the Super Bowl or something, a scary movie pops up on your screen and it's like, come on man, like I didn't want to sign up to this, I just wanted to see somebody, score some touchdowns. My name is Douglas Rogers, currently work for a company called Spot AI as a full stack software engineer. What I'm planning to build today is a Halloween party planner. Like my goal is to dive straight into the back end. I'm getting the functionality there. I'm hoping I can spend a couple, like the first 2 hours on that, and then the last 2 hours are just getting it beautiful. Slapping lipstick on a pig, as they say in the South, right?
Man, see, this is what I'm worried about actually, is like I don't do well with scary stuff. So like this episode's gonna give me nightmares.
I'll add that to my cards, give Jason nightmares.
My plan today is to build out an actually possessed app. Like the plan is to put a poltergeist in it. There will be some random things that can happen, and I'm going to be using the fact that Convex queries are real time to just kind of like poll and set things at random moments, and that'll cause weird stuff to happen. The biggest X factor is going to be the stuff that I want to do with randomization I've never tried before. Pencils down. You've got 4 hours to build, and your 4 hours starts right now.
Ready.
All right.
Focusing on the color palette, I see.
Yes.
Nice, the important things.
I was saying, like every time I do this show, somebody makes fun of me because my designs are always bad. So, because I always wait until the end. Right? So,
Nice.
you know what? This time, maybe it doesn't work, but it's going to look great.
That, literally, what I've been doing is getting prettier in my environment, right?
That's that old was it an Abraham Lincoln quote? Like you tell me I got 4 hours to build a website. I'm going to spend the first 3.5 sharpening my pretty thing.
Right. That's exactly what's happening right now.
I don't know, Jason, if you should like go around being like, I'm the Abraham Lincoln of code, but. So what are you building yours with, Jason?
Straight beat.
Yeah, straight up, huh?
Yeah.
What about you, Doug?
Next.js.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about you, Danny? What do you use?
Next.js for pages.
Look, and we the three of us, Jason outside of this, we're forming a triangle right now. He's just like using open source software or whatever.
So I'm using Convex and I'm creating a new table, and essentially the idea here is for the costume store we're going to have costume specs, so sizing, pricing, things of that nature, information that a potential user could use to kind of make an informed decision. And so I'm kind of making the database right now so I can start entering some of these fields.
If you click on the add documents, you can add like multiple of these at a time if you like have some seed data or something.
Okay.
And the other cool one is if you click the like generate schema, it like infers the shape of any data you paste in there.
Oh.
So if you like already have some costume data, or if you have data you want to paste in there, then you can put that in your Convex directory and get all of the like end-to-end type safety.
Okay.
How's it going?
It's coming along. I kind of focused heavily on the UI side.
Yeah, you got all of your fonts set up.
Yeah, all
Looks
my fonts
great.
are set up, right? And I got some form fields out here. And so now my next step is to kind of get all these fields right here into Convex. So.
Have you done like the initial setup stuff for Convex?
Yeah, so I have Convex.
You have a Convex folder,
Yep.
That's a good sign.
Yep, and then I do have some set up. So I have like a mutation so I can bring these in.
Neat.
Yeah, so I have the things ready. I just need to get it in.
How's it going?
I decided this time I was going to start off by trying to get it styled to a point that I was happy with. I'm following the tutorial here on how to do the file storage. This one they're using useState, so I'm going to see if I can do it just straight out of the form event, or the form data event. And then the other thing that I'm going to try to do, so you can't like do this inside of a mutation, because what I was wondering at first was if I could take this part here and instead of having like the separate generate upload URL, I can't just like put all of this here.
I mean, you can return the URL, but you can't
Couldn't like run the fetch in here and do all the stuff.
right.
And then
Mutations can't like do fetch or like talk to the outside world.
Okay, got it. Oh, that's probably safe.
I mean, we can do things like retry them, which is pretty good.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, so I think I'm feeling like I've got a good plan here. I feel like time management is going okay. And so, just fingers crossed that I'm going to get full functionality. And then once I have full functionality, then everything else is kind of a stretch goal, like adding
Cool.
more goofy stuff.
I've been using mock data, and that works pretty well for me. It's actually loading it up. And now I am trying to actually load from Convex. So I was able to generate a schema So I got that going. So I got some character data in here, and this is just my JSON. I was able to just add documents and paste that in here, and it worked super well and gave me a schema that I was able to bring into my Convex folder. Yeah, so I added a nice little query function, and now I was trying to see if I could just load my character data, and it looks like it just works. So that is great for me because now I can persist, and I kind of built out my whole thing. So when I select it, it goes to this. Yeah, but I'm stoked. I think I'm gonna get something going here. The UI is mostly, mine looks like business instead of fun like everybody else's, but that's cool.
Hey Sarah.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Yes, I maybe have an answer.
All right, so I would like to create a cover photo for like the event. So I see in the docs where it's saying you generate the URL and then you store it. So what I'm assuming is I could generate it, and then this part of storing it, it could be the same endpoint as saving the entire event, or does it have to be separate?
If you go to the docs,
Okay.
yeah, this shows like all of the steps. Like you can just send all of your other fields in there.
Okay.
But you'd be like generating the URL, then like submitting the image, then like writing down the rest of your fields. But
Okay.
like from the perspective of your app, it's just like a single submit.
Okay, cool.
So I'm trying to get a cron job going here. And so I think I've done it right because I'm looking at this here. And as far as I can tell, this is what it says to do. But I'm not seeing, so what I'm doing is I've got the internal function going, and that internal function should be logging.
Cool.
Right? And so I'm not seeing the log here, and I'm also not seeing the log here, and I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or...
I agree that those are the places I'd expect to see it. I think the file needs to be called crons.
Oh my God. I never would have found that. Let's see, did it do it? There it is.
Yay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Cool. Other thing is if you want to just kind of like ignore some of the schema validation things to get things pushable, there's like a second argument to define schema that lets you just disable it. So sometimes I'll do that and then get all of my data in like a stable-ish place and then turn it back on.
Yeah, I dumped a bunch of data in here, and I feel like it's probably all.
You can also, like, if you click the checkbox, do the bulk edit stuff.
I was just gonna delete them. And
that also works.
yeah, that was my.
That's what I usually do.
Plan, just delete the bad data and make good data.
Yeah.
Where I'm at right now, I've decided not to do the image upload because, But where I'm at right now is I'm trying to, I need to get the user to say I'm going to the party, right? So that's where I'm at right now. I thought I was going to be able to have time to do like a deduper, a custom deduper. Clearly I'm not, I got 40 minutes.
So we got the other pages up. So far, we've got some products showing, we've got our information coming from the database here, and we got the prices displaying, and we've got a Shop Now button. I'm making this last section here, we should be good to go.
What I'm trying to do right now is I've got it kind of functioning, right? Like this is the main homepage, and then this is the add idea page. I've got them just split screen here. Like it's all doing what I would expect it to do. So now the next part that I'm working on is just kind of the goofiness of it all and fixing up like, why did that just happen?
Why does it still say submitting? Who knows?
To say? Yeah, so...
is it part of the spookiness? Who knows?
That's ooh. The spooky part is that none of it works.
To be honest, moments like this, I like it because it reminds me like I actually do earn a living doing this. And I remember when I was like first getting into this thing where none of this made sense to me.
Now look at you doing it in 4 hours.
I know.
Someone's taking a break.
I'm done. I'm actually not done, but the thing that I wanted to do is broken, so I'm just pretending that I wasn't going to do that thing.
Dude, that's the way. Cut features.
That's time. Does this look like fun? You think you could build something better? Join the Web Dev Challenge Hackathon and try it out. Take 30 minutes to plan, 4 hours to build, and show me what you got. Details are right here in this URL. We'll see you there.
So I was making this spooky story maze. I didn't get to create a custom character, but I have these 3 characters, and these are stored off in my Convex database. You get to initialize your spooky maze. Let's see, interstellar zombies. All right, how scary do we want this? We'll go a little above that. So the Necrovoid Labyrinth. So we're in the airlock of despair. You get a whole little story down here, and then you can navigate between them.
Oh, cool.
Very nice.
So you go to the next one, generates a new image. You get describes that. What are we in? The corridor of echoes. That looks like a sad place to be. You can go back, and then it actually it's supposed to use the same image and then like use it as input, so you get kind of some continuity between them. And then eventually you get to the end, which is supposed to be the idea would be a boss fight. Yeah, so here's all of our interstellar zombies hanging out, the little baby zombie there, which is pretty creepy. So like, if I was extending this more, I'd want to have some sort of ability for the player to choose some actions or actually do something in each one. But just getting through the map was kind of my goal. I used server components for the most part. Just because that's how I generally work, and so it's page by page. You get a character selection. I load the characters from Convex, so I'm using my query here and using the generated API that Convex gives me, and then that loads from the database and brings those in, which is pretty nice. So you get the loading screen, and then this uses. So I'm using Suspense, so the actual loading screen is where it's cycling through the different little phrases is actually just a fallback, and then once you get to mazes loaded, that's where we persist it. So I'm doing a mutation here and actually just writing the results of that to Convex. I made like a little SDK. This is the generate maze. It's using generate objects. So this is Vercel's wrapper around the OpenAI SDK, which is super cool because you can pass in a schema, and that means you can pass in a Zod schema.
Oh, nice.
And with the Zod schema, then it uses that to generate an object, so it actually enforces the schema, and then behind the scenes they're making sure it does that. So I'm pretty sure sometimes if it messes up and doesn't match the schema, then it'll like redo it for you, so it takes even longer. Probably costs twice as much too on the OpenAI side, but you know, if your data's right, your data's right, so what are you gonna do? And so that's the actual maze itself, and that generates the maze structure, and then each node has a kind of a similar thing where you go in and it generates it. It does not get graphic and gory. It's probably good for the PG-13 show that we're on today, but you know.
The way that Joel's brain works, I liked kind of seeing that he made a Zort, like a Return to Zort game, which was super fun.
I did a Halloween party planner, so went practical. So you get started, you give your event a name, but if you are having a brain fart and can't figure out a name, you can generate a name. So I have AI generating a couple of names for you. I used Google Gemini here, and then once you select it, it fills it in. You could choose your date, give it some address, and then we could choose who our invitees are. And now we have our the review of the event, and so then I submit. Then I'm taken to the event page where I can manage and see what's going on. I can delete an invitee if I wanted to. I didn't get a chance to style like the event page. You know, my goal was to get a cover art, but that didn't work. Once it gets sent out, this is what the user sees. They get to view the event, and then they're able to RSVP. And so they can say what their name is, number of guests, and then they could choose whether they're going maybe or not going. And so let's say I'm not going to this party. And so I should be able to see a new event, Halloween hijinks, and then the invitee is all the same. He says he's not going. So I ended up using Next.js, the app router. The cool part is that event title generator. I'm using Gemini for that. So
Here we go. Generate titles. I ended up going with Google because one, I wasn't paying for OpenAI. It was cheap and it's fast. I was able to do it relatively fast. So give it the prompt. Give me an unordered list of creative Halloween event titles, and then I had to kind of like parse through it to kind of, because Gemini gives you like a list, but it has like JSON. It just gives you a bunch of nonsense. I just wanted the good stuff that's in the middle. So created this little function to parse through it, and then I just return that, and then it outputs. Once you generate it, it just outputs into the outputs the title, saves it into state, and then it puts it into that modal. Use React hook forms to submit everything and handle all the form stuff. It's a multi-step form, all on one page. It's multi-steps, once you step through. I'm glad that I was able to get some of the AI stuff from Gemini in there to give you options on what titles it was. So that was pretty cool.
And so you could see, calm down everybody, the fear, it's so scary. David S. Pumpkin themed Halloween store. The prices are so low, the competition is nervous. And kind of just zoom in a little more, kind of bring that in. And you can kind of see we have a couple things there, and then we have, what, new message from CEO. Anyway, so we'll kind of just forget that. Oh my God. Why did Vim open? How do you get out of Vim? You can't escape. What? Yeah, okay. And so the code, that was my app. I thought developer nightmare fuel, right? So you just send something in before you have to give a demo, and then you start getting the Slack messages back and back and back. So I kind of go through one more time, I guess for demo's sake. But if you click on anything, we'll get our first Slack message that pops up, which is followed by our second one, our third, and of course, our fourth that comes now opening Vim, and there's no escape from Vim. And so, ironically, this was actually like a little challenging to kind of get together, funny enough, but we'll kind of walk through the code a little bit. We did a couple things here. I wanted to, number one, make sure if they clicked on anything, we would create the Slack message pop-up. To be honest, I spent way more time trying to create that Slack message UI because I wanted it to be as believable as possible.
That was good. It got me like that. The first one, I was like, dude, you need to like silence your message.
Yeah. And so after we hit 4 clicks, once we reach number 5, we'll change our theme from our Halloween store container to our Vim container. And based off of that, we will then start going into our components. For our Slack messages, we're obviously looking at our count, and of course the messages ourselves, that we're getting that from our Convex database that we created, that I was kind of trying to hide a little bit to kind of create that lasting effect there. And I think that paid off pretty well. Based on the click count, we're minusing 1 so that way we can get the index for which position the Slack messages will be. They say you don't need math and development, but look at that. All right, and then we have our basic product page. And outside of that, yeah, I think we had a home run here. The main thing that I struggled with was trying to create that UI layout of that Slack notification. That probably took more time than I even cared to say out loud. It came out exactly the way that I hoped it would.
So the idea is that you can kind of come in here and you can take, let's do a costume. We'll say like a witch, and you can say, like scary hexes on you. And then we've got a picture of a witch, so we'll upload that. And okay.
Oh no.
So but then you get haunted, right? And so I don't know what the heck is going on with this. Also, I was hoping that wouldn't happen first. Once you're haunted, you're haunted. But so we'll do our witch. Once you get it uploaded, it goes in. You go through the submission, and it shows up in the list, right? So that's kind of the idea, is you can track stuff. But like I said, weird stuff is happening. So sometimes it'll just kind of take over, and you end up haunted, and then I don't know what that is that happens, just stuff starts popping up. And I also started to notice that depending on what I was doing, certain things would just, I think vampires are really scary. So it's the scariest monster, and then you go to upload it. And so I uploaded this, and then this is what happens.
Oh,
and
no.
so I don't know what's going on here because I think that vampires are really scary, but apparently the ghost I disturbed doesn't. And then I also realized, like, I was trying to put something in here, so I was like, you know, pumpkin rolls. Add our pumpkin roll, right? So look, this looks delicious. I want to eat that. It just gets overridden. So it's weird. Like I feel like, so, you know, anyway, so I'm trying to sell this site. It's real cheap, not for any nefarious or haunted reasons. I'm just trying to move it fast. So this app, the way that I set it up, it's a Create Vite app using React. So where things get interesting is in the handle submit, we have a, when I'm not trying to make sure that things don't fail, you've got a 1 in 3 chance of being haunted when you submit something to the form. And that's why I was hoping it would like not happen the first try so that we'd get it. So this is all fine. Let's get into the Convex stuff because that's where I started doing a little chaos. So then in my creation mutation, I grab out the data and then I start checking for stuff in the input. So if you call your costume or you call your data a vampire, if it's in the title anywhere, then the ghost will take over and talk shit about vampires. If it's a ghost in the title, it'll update the description to, you know, to give you shit for thinking that's what a ghost looks like. And then if it's any type of dish or food item, it just gets replaced with candy corn. So you can't upload food to the app at all. I have a cron job going, and that cron job runs every 1 second, and it's called randomized spookiness. And so this is one of the things that I really like about Convex is when I have a bad idea, I don't have to reach for more tools. I'm just like, oh, let me put this bad idea in here. And Convex is like, we got you. So in my randomized spookiness, I just load all the ideas and then I map over them. And I gave it a 1% chance of being spooky. And if it's set to spooky, that's where we get that kind of like scary face popping up every once in a while. So the goal here was to sort of give an app that was unexpected, did some stuff that caught you off guard and was a little bit weird. And I feel like that went pretty well. Something fun that I did today is I got to work with cron jobs, which is where you kind of set a timer and like every X seconds or minutes or hours or days, you can have a job run. And so typically you would do that for something practical, but you know, I got to really abuse it and have something run every second to cause a little chaos in the app. And I thought that was a lot of fun. 3, 2.
I like having a good time and I'm around my people. So it's like, this was a great time to just hang out, have some fun, enjoy the experience. And I think we did.
I think it's surprising like how much you can accomplish in 4 hours. Given the constraints we were given, it was really neat to see people accomplish what they did today.
I feel like, and this was the first time that everybody's finished without panicking, right? Like everybody was on deadline, kind of just like coasting into the last few minutes. So I don't know, it feels like we're learning.
What went well was Convex was easy. Once I figured out how to get the data in the back end, it kind of went downhill from there. So it was just a matter of just making the forms go straight to the back end.
One extra thing that surprised me was this wasn't really a competition. I thought there would be a winner, but you know what? Maybe the real reward is the friends we made along the way. Maybe. I came to win.